Metro Weather Watch, evening update for the Evansville metro area and surrounding tri-state communities, with meteorologist Nathan Kitchens.
Hello everyone, your evening update is brought to you by Vinny's Auto Detail. With spring being around the corner, this will be a great time to get your vehicle spruced up. You can visit them in Evansville, located at 950 North Congress Avenue. Give Donnie a call at 812-471-4900 and tell them that Metro Weather Watch sent you. In this update, we're going to take a look at the severe weather chance on Friday. We'll break this down and discuss this, and we'll take a look at the 7-day forecast as well later on in this video. So stay tuned. We have a lot to discuss. Certainly, the main concern here is the risk for severe weather Friday. The Storm Prediction Center has our region in a standard slight risk, with an enhanced threat over parts of central and northern Indiana through western Ohio and southeast Michigan. In our region, by all means, damaging winds will be the most widespread and highest concern on Friday for our region. We can't rule out some large hail, and still can't rule out isolated tornadoes as well. But I think the tornado threat will really be pretty low for our area because we have a very unidirectional shear environment. What that means is winds throughout all levels of the atmosphere are blowing at a pretty much the same direction out of the southwest. Where we're going to have a little bit of a better tornado threat will be over parts of central and northern Indiana, closer to that low pressure center. That's where we're going to have better veering of the wind with height. So winds that are coming in at different angles with height, and that allows spin within the storms and can produce a better chance of producing tornadoes. And I think that better chance will be over up to our north and east over northern Indiana on Friday. So that's just kind of a quick breakdown of the storm risk from the Storm Prediction Center. And let's take a detailed look here to forecast over the next few days, or as we go through the next couple of days, I should say. Tomorrow, again, another very warm day. We'll see highs getting up to the low to mid-70s. I'm not going to rule out a spotty shower or storm, mainly in our northern counties tomorrow afternoon, but I really think more than likely we're probably going to stay dry. And then as we go through Thursday night, very warm. We're going to be in the warm sector of this developing storm. So temperatures Thursday night will likely hold into the 60s. So incredibly warm Thursday night. We'll probably break our record warm low Thursday night because of all this warm air coming in ahead of this low pressure. As we go into Friday morning, I think we're going to start off today Friday quiet. We're actually probably going to see a partly cloudy sky Friday morning. And that's important because with some of that sunshine, we're going to start to build up the warmth, and we're going to start to build up that instability in place. We have the warmth and moisture building up that instability throughout the day Friday, and it's also going to be very breezy as well. In fact, I wouldn't rule out a wind advisory being issued on Friday. And so outside of any storms Friday, which is going to be a very windy day with wind gusts potentially up to 40 miles per hour at times during the afternoon, outside of any storms certainly. But going through the day Friday, initially from the morning through early afternoon, we're going to have a capping inversion. And what that means is we have a stable layer in the atmosphere where temperatures are actually warming with height. So what that does is basically it's like putting a lid. The best way to kind of describe this is like putting a lid over a boiling pot of water. You got that moisture, you got that warmth building at the surface, particles rising, but then you got this barrier, this lid that's keeping them from going further. That's going to be initially a factor Friday early afternoon, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for severe weather because once that lid erodes, the storms will be developing very quickly. So it's like going to be one of those things where storms should start developing right on top of our heads around mid-afternoon Friday. I'd say after 2 o'clock really looks to be the time frame here. Let's look at the NAM model here. This is going to the noon time frame. You might start to see some isolated activity to our west. And the main cold front here is just east of St. Louis at noon Friday, with that line of storms trying to start developing here. As we go through 1 and 2 o'clock, and again, here's 2 o'clock. I think this is when we can start to see some of this isolated cellular action developing right along the Wabash River around early to mid-afternoon. So here we go by 3 o'clock. Some isolated storms over their area. And here's the main line along that cold front over southern Illinois at this time, pushing into our far western tri-state counties. And going through the mid to late afternoon, I think especially from Evansville and points to the east, that's where we're going to see those better chances for storms really getting going towards the late afternoon. Some of this supercellular action potentially here, and that's certainly where we have to watch for the potential for isolated damaging wind threat and isolated tornado as well. But then as we go into the early evening hours here, by the time we get to 4 or 5 o'clock, the line of storms along the cold front will be approaching Evansville. This is the map by 6 o'clock. Basically, the storms are right along that Wabash River at this point. And when this main squall line comes through, Certainly the main risk will be the risk for some damaging winds across the area. Winds can be very fierce with this line as this comes through Friday evening. And this will be very rapidly moving as well. This thing's going to be just flying through the area very quickly Friday evening. And then after that cold front comes through, temperatures will start to drop rapidly as much colder air begins to fill back into the region. Looking at some of the dynamics involved Friday, again, wind energy is going to be very impressive. This is looking at winds speeds at about 5,000 feet above our heads. And hey, thank goodness we don't live 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere, because winds up there will be blowing at about 60 knots. So very impressive wind energy in place, more than sufficient enough to sustain severe weather. And the reason why wind shear is so important, what that does is it allows those storms to sustain themselves and keep going. And that's very important for severe weather. That's certainly, and that's one factor that we will have very favorable on Friday is the wind energy. And looking at winds at various levels of the atmosphere, you see these different wind barbs. The red is the surface, the blue is at 5,000 feet aloft, and then this darker blue is at, or black I should say, is at 5,000 feet. You see these different wind barbs, and basically this is a good way to show the wind directions with height and wind speed. And we do have a little bit of turning showing up, but really this is a pretty directional shear environment. The better risk for a little more turning of the winds with height and better tornado potential, I think, will be over northern and central Indiana, and as we go through Friday afternoon into Friday evening. Okay, so once we get past this on Friday, let's take a look here at the storm as it continues to move through Friday afternoon. The other side of this will be a winter storm over the plains and into the Great Lakes. A major snowstorm here across the central plains on Friday into Friday night. And then as we go through the weekend, we turn much colder. Then our attention will turn to another system around Monday with showers. And a bigger storm from Tuesday into Wednesday. It's going to deliver the chance for more storms and heavy rain, followed by another big cool down by Thursday of next week. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Very up and down forecast. Tomorrow, 73, spotty storm, can't be ruled out, but I really think we're going to stay dry. I really debated whether or not to even put that in there. But Friday is the day we have to watch. Severe weather chances. It's going to be a very windy day as well. Outside of any storms, it's going to be just a windy day. And I think ahead of that front, we're going to make a run at the mid-70s before the clouds and the storms develop over us by mid-afternoon hours. And then, of course, those storms will continue through Friday early evening, pushing to the east. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's just a chilly weekend with temperatures in the low 40s Saturday. In fact, we may be as cool as the upper 30s by Saturday afternoon, so very chilly weather this weekend, but near average. It's just so much colder compared to where we've been. It does look dry this weekend, but then next week things start to turn more active again with showers on Monday, and then another system here on Tuesday. Storms likely Tuesday at night. We could see some more strong storms during that period, so we need to watch that closely. And that's going to be followed by a big cool down towards the mid and late portion of next week. So that high of 61 Wednesday will be early in the day and then rapidly falling during the afternoon. And then as we go through Thursday of next week, it does look quite a bit colder. So that's just kind of a breakdown here of the next 7 days. And of course, we want you to continue to stay aware to our forecast as we get closer for Friday. Make sure you have your severe weather plans in place. It's always good to practice with your family. Know where you're going to go and what you're going to do during a severe weather event, and have a way to receive warnings. That's so important. Thank you all for tuning into your evening update, and keep it here for the latest, and have a good night.